Hello, my wonderful subscribers and precious viewers. Vayo's Kitchen have come again today with a very delicious and special recipe. This time around, guess what? It's going to be pineapple upside down cake. I repeat, pineapple upside down cake. Are you ready? Please, if you have not subscribed, you are missing a lot. Subscribe and give me a thumb up on that bell. Just that bell, hit it, so that anytime I upload beautiful recipes like this, you will always get it. Now let's get started.
For this recipe, I'll be needing 500 grams of flour, and I'll be removing 30 grams out of it and be replacing it with this corn flour, 30 grams too. I will also be needing 250 grams of butter, that is unsalted butter, the one you are seeing right here inside the plate. So I won't be using all, and also a quarter cup of unsalted butter for lining of the pan. I will also be needing a quarter cup of brown sugar for lining of the pan. Then I will be needing the cherry. I have 2 bowls there. The 2 bowls will go in. I will also be needing my milk, a cup of milk, and also I'll be needing my pineapple slice. I'm using 2 cans. Then I'll be using my cream vanilla, 1 tablespoon. I'll also be needing my baking powder, 1 tablespoon. Also, I'll be needing scale for all my measurements. And then I'll be needing 10 eggs. Now set the eggs and everything that is on the table aside and start by lining the pan. First of all, you take your measuring cup or a quarter cup and measure out your butter, your salted butter, and then you line it. Just add it into the pan and begin to spread it around the bottom. After that, you take it to the heat to melt it so that everything will be well lined. Now after these 250 grams of unsalted butter, I'm also going to be adding 250 grams of margarine to make my total butter for the cake 500 grams. So now for this a quarter cup I am using for lining of the pan. It's not among the 500 grams of butter that I'm going to be using. This is different from the normal butter. So now I'm also going to be opening the bag of the brown sugar, and I will take a quarter cup also and add to the butter inside the pan. Now cut it open and measure the sugar and pour it into the pan, and then use your spatula and spread it round, making sure that it's well lined. Then after that, you open the pineapple slice and begin to arrange the pen. First of all, remove the water from the pan and then begin to arrange the pineapple slice inside the bottom of the pan. The pan I am using here right now is 12 inches. I'm also going to be using another pan, but I'm using this 12 inches to show you how your pineapple should be arranged, because this pineapple might not be enough for both the 12 inches and the 10 inches I'll be using later. So now I line it until everywhere is filled up. The next thing I'm going to do is to put my cherry in between the hole of the pineapple rings. Now I use the 2 containers to make sure the cherry goes round. Then you set it aside. Now you prepare your cake flour by measuring 30 grams of corn flour in a bowl. Now, after measuring the 30 grams of corn flour, you make sure all your flour is sieved. Measure the 30 grams of corn flour, set aside, then measure out 30 grams of your flour out of the main flour, the 500 grams flour, and replace it with 30 grams of corn flour. That is the only way you can make your cake flour. If you did not see cake flour, the sealed one in the market, this is another way you can actually use your own hand and make it for yourself. Now I have removed the flour and I'm replacing it now with the corn flour. Then sieve it together until well combined. Stir it together before sieving. And then begin to sieve it until well combined. Another way you can use in sieving to sieve it is by using another bowl, sieving it up to 5 to 6 times, so that you'll be sure that the flour and the corn flour is well combined. Then after sieving, you set it aside. Now add into the mixing bowl 250 grams of unsalted butter, and then 250 grams of margarine, making the total butter to be 500 grams, and then begin to cream. Next, you measure 300 grams of sugar and add into the creaming mixed butter. Allow it to cream until light and fluffy. Break your 10 eggs into a different bowl, and by the time the butter and sugar is completely creamed, this will be the color. Then gradually begin to add in your eggs, a few or a little at a time until all is added. Now everything has been added and mixed. Stir it, scrape down the sides of the pan for everything to be together. And then add 1 tablespoon of vanilla into the mixture. And begin to cream again. Add the cake flour. And then 1 cup of milk. But this time you're going to be adding the milk little by little. That is, alternating it with the flour. When you add the flour, you add the milk. You're starting with the flour and ending with the flour. exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Remember, the mixer shouldn't be on high speed this time because you have to fold in. If you allow the mixer to overspeed, it will make your cake to be too strong. And everything is now mixed. I'm going to use my hand to do the rest of the mixing. Now pour into the prepared pan where you line the pineapple, dividing the mixture for the next pan. Now my next pan is going to be 10 inches, but the pineapple I have is not much, so I will only just add it behind camera and then pour the remaining batter. Now this is the finished cake. So let us see how it looks like. When you remove it from oven, endeavor to allow it to sit on a work table for 10 minutes before you flip it over. Now the next thing is to scrape out the sides of the pan before you flip. The next, you get your board or whatever, or your wire rack, or a plate or a round tray, and then turn it upside down, flip it over, because the bottom of this particular cake happens to be the top side. That's why it is called pineapple upside down cake. Wow, this is lovely. Try out this recipe and tell me what you feel. Is this not lovely? Give me a thumb up if you truly love this recipe, and please subscribe and share. Let's test it and see.
So, over to the pineapple upside down cake. God, I love that name. We have it here. I'm about to have a bite. Crunchy bites. Just like this. This is good and nutritious.